This is Jay Michaels, and I am still in the passion pit. Now, when I say still in the passion pit, I was hoping to go away for the holidays already. But I met this young lady, and the story she told me was so engrossing, so amazing, so compelling. I wanted to talk to her before the end of the year. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name. She's going to do that for you. But we have a young artist here, an international artist who has been through so much, and what has she done in terms of giving back from what she's been through to become an artist. And I think that's a message that we independent artists need to hear. Anna, welcome to my program. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Pronounce for me your last name.
It's Cherkezishvili.
Cherkezishvili.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You made me feel much better. I've since changed my name decades ago, and it also was a difficult name. I'm feeling better now.
Okay.
Okay. Now when we first spoke, I said, okay, this is great. I'll talk to her next year. She's a young artist, wonderful. And then I read your bio, and I heard you were part of the Georgian Civil War. That your family was there and bore witness to that. Share with us your young life. What was it like during a civil war? We almost had one here, and we're still breathlessly hoping for not. What was it like for you?
So I'm the child of 90s in Georgia, which was probably the most difficult times in my country, because we had very devastating war with Russia. And because I was very, very young, I remember bits and pieces of the, situation, but I don't think I've seen the actual battlefield, but I remember the effect it had on people around me. And I remember we were avoiding to leave home at certain hours, so we would be careful. And I remember long hours of staying at home and not being able to go to kindergarten because it was not safe for us to leave home. And
wow.
I just had to stay at home and just play with my dolls for hours. And I remember my parents losing jobs because, nothing was really functioning in the country at that moment. And we just did not know what would happen. And I think it definitely affected the economy because after the war, after the actual war, I think the country was left devastated and torn down, and it was a terrible sight. And it was a nightmare to watch the news. I think that's something people would try to avoid because every day, we would hear the story of someone, dying or some very tragic happenings. And I was definitely feeling as a child of the age of 3 or 4 years old that there was something very bad happening in the country because my parents felt sad about the situation. And then I remember, after the war, as consequences of the economy being totally destroyed, I think people didn't have jobs. They did not know what to do, how to basically feed their families. That was one of the most difficult things I think my parents had as a task, how to take care of me. And I remember my mom would take me to the store and we would stand in line for hours just to buy the bread and cottage cheese or milk, just very simple things because it was hard to find. For some reason, there was bad distribution of all the products for people. Somehow food became very scarce. And I remember we would wait in line for hours just to be able to buy some bread and milk and then bring it to my place. So I definitely remember how hard it was to just simply to be fed. And I think after a while, things changed. We had the new president, and I think slowly the nation started to come out from that devastating fear that the war brought on us. And then I was able to go to kindergarten, and then I was able to go to school. But I think, the fact is I'm the first generation who lived outside the Soviet Union, because because my parents lived in that, under that system, and I was the first generation who did not know what that was. But at the same time, the country was lost because there was this huge system that the whole country lived under, and then it was all taken away. So now there was no system. There was no education system. The schools had hard time. I remember we would bring heaters in the school because we didn't have central heating anymore. And we had to bring heaters, and our teachers had to figure out how could we sit in the classroom without freezing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. And so the poverty, I think one of the most difficult things that I remember about those times, it was the poverty and how it affected our daily lives. Sometimes we would not have electricity for hours or just water. And if we would get electricity, we would just get excited and celebrate that day we could maybe turn on the central heating and it would be less cold for that day. Um, and I think when I was about 10 or 11, I think things started to get a little bit better, but I would say the crime was on the rise because I feel like the government didn't have enough grip on the country because of the destroyed systems. So I think the crime was on the rise, but at least school situation was getting better. At least we had better situation in terms of having the assignments and going home, having homework to do, and then coming back to school the next day. And then I think when we had the new government in 2008 and Georgia started making steps towards democracy, I think things changed, and I think we were introduced more to the Western culture, such as American or Western European, and the country took like completely different course, and I think economy improved, and I could feel it, in terms of how my family lived their life, and we didn't worry about getting food anymore. My mom had the job at this time, so people were able to at least have jobs, and that definitely helped.
This is really interesting. I'm listening to you, and so many little shards of memory are coming back. When I'm of a certain age, so that I remember bomb drills. We would have those bomb shelter drills in public school, and we'd all roll our eyes and go under our desks and things like that. We never thought anything of it. What it must have been like to it's not a drill. You had to evacuate, you had to run away, you had to hide. Your whole childhood was like that. Oh my gosh. And when we talk about the fall of the Soviet Union, we talk about it like this triumphant thing. And maybe, okay, that's how we can look at it historically, if you will. But what about the devastation it did to all the people? Oh my gosh. You had mentioned one interesting detail, that you were stuck in your room so often that you eventually, your brain became your world, became where you had a castle. How did you compensate? Here's this little girl. Oh my gosh. And you didn't know enough. Your parents at least could say, okay, this is what's going on in the world. You're just going, there's a problem. How did you compensate? What castles did you build in your clouds?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew there was something very bad happening. I knew there was a war because at the time I was 3 or 4, and I knew that the reason why we could not go outside for certain hours is just because that's how we could keep ourselves safe.
Sure.
And I think that's a very scary thing for a young child to, just process. But I had a lot of dolls, a lot of toys, and I loved them. And also I was watching a lot of cartoons whenever we had the electricity, actually,
Yeah,
I would say. And I think that that was my safe space, you know, staying in my room and playing with my dolls for hours, and then sometimes for maybe half an hour watching American cartoons, which I actually loved, you know, the Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and the Disney cartoons. I absolutely was fascinated because that was bringing some color into my life and some fun. So then, because I would see all these palaces in the Disney cartoons, when I was playing with my dolls, I would imagine that I was in that palace, you know, with my dolls, and then I would create all the stories about, you know, princesses and you know the royal families, and that they would travel on the, you know, magic carpet. And I think I really developed imagination that would drive me for hours, you know, to just play the games.
It drove you for years because you took an amazing journey. I get worried sometimes taking a bus to Queens, but you and it was called A Dramatic Adventure, which I saw in your bio.
Hmm.
Incredible,
Hmm.
a perfect title. You took the dramatic adventure and decided you're going to be a performer, and you're going to be a performer in America.
Hmm.
What was that? What was that like?
Yeah. I think I always dreamed about coming to the United States because I always felt like the world here was so different from the world where I was living in. And mostly I would say movies contributed to that. Movies and cartoons, the Hollywood movies and the cartoons that I was watching, because I was thinking, you know, here's this magical world, and people are so expressive and individualistic and free, and I loved that, and I just wanted to be part of that. And then you know, as I was growing up, you know, and when I was a teenager, I was already, you know, into researching the film history, the theater history, and Georgians love theater. So that when I was a teenager, I would say theater culture came back, and they would do plays, and my parents would take me to watch these plays, and that was really the art world was an escape for me from the reality that I was facing, and it was entertaining to me. And so I was always researching, you know, about theater and the movies, and then I realized that I was fascinated by American culture of theater and film, and I was just sitting there and watching it on TV, and I was saying, oh my God, I want to be part of that, and one day I'm going to go to America. And I was telling that to my mom when I was a child. I would say, Mom, you know, one day I'm going to go to America, and I'll be an artist there. And she would laugh because she would say, please stop saying those kind of things because then I'll believe in it. And then I said, I will do it, you know. And then she, you know, once she knew that that was my dream to become an actress, she supported me, and she supported my journey to the US. And when I got here, first theater company I auditioned for was Dramatic Adventure Theater. And you know,
Nickname, perfect.
I just came across their audition online, and I remember their director Jesse Baxter. He you know, scheduled the online audition for me, and he asked me why was I interested to participate in their program. And you know, I told him that it was just my lifelong dream to step into the world of American theater. And I think I was so enthusiastic that he just let me book the part. and and after that we traveled together for the project.
That's great. What kind of project was it that you did?
So we went to Slovakia, and we traveled there for month and a half. First we went to Bratislava, and then we went to small Romani village, and it was fascinating because their theater project was about community service, and then to the Romani people in Slovakia, who are the most marginalized people in Slovakia. And then the idea was to create the play based on that travel experience and based on our um, activities, and then present the play in New York. And that's how it actually worked out. We traveled there. as a group. Tom Costello was our director and guided our whole cast. And we would travel from a village to another and meet kids at school and teach them theater games, which was fun for them, and then teach them the little storytelling tricks so they could create their own little scenes and own little plays. And then we learned a lot about Romani people in Slovakia and about the social issues that they're facing and how they're trying to have the opportunity for their children so they can go to schools and have education just like the Slovakian kids. And I think it all really affected us as artists because we felt that theater was about community work as well, and that we could inspire these kids and tell them that they have a lot of value and that they can find themselves in the society. Because we too have experienced things in our childhood that made us feel as if we did not belong or as if we could not have the same opportunities as other kids who were more privileged maybe. So we had those experiences and we were trying to help these kids to feel the special that they really are. And after those experiences, we wrote our own play and we came back to New York and we had the premiere at the Abingdon Theater, and I was playing a gypsy woman, one of the principal roles, and that was my first first role on American stage, and I really cannot describe how excited I was.
That's really interesting. You come all the way to America only to join a company that goes all the way back again, talks to all these people. So you're giving back. You've made that journey, and you're coming with gifts. You're going to teach all of us about so much around the world. Now the Romani people really meant something to you. Didn't you do a film? Am I reading your bio wrong?
I, yeah.
You also breached into the world of film. What happened there?
Yes, I've done a short film while I was in college at the Georgian State University of Theater and Film. Before I would come to US, I did my college degree there, and I was very interested. I had this assignment to do a short movie or a story about about a group of people that was interesting to me. And I decided to do a short movie about Romani people who lived in Georgia because I always felt like they were not really accepted in our society enough, that they were not given the same opportunities. And some of them were not even citizens. So because they were not offered citizenship, they could not work. And therefore it affected their lifestyle. So I was really interested to get to know them, and I did a short movie about that.
This is really interesting because everything you're telling me of what you've done, I hear people all the time. I've come here and I did a musical. I mean, I came here, I did this film, this play. You came here and that wasn't enough for you. You want to teach us. You want to give back to us through the arts, and I think that is so commendable that the foundation of your work is that way. Now you entered Stella Adler, your
Yes.
dramatic adventure. Continued all the way through into Stella Adler. Tell us about your New York career. So now you've done this amazing work from across the world. You brought it here to America, and now you're an American actress. What have you done here in this country? What have you done in New York and here?
You know, Stella Adler definitely gave me the skills that I wanted to have, that you know, to understand my craft to better serve it. And well, I remember I joined Heights Players, and that was an exciting journey. I've heard about the Heights Players from my friend Abby Glazier, who was in the show with them, and I went to see her in the play. It was Oliver. They did the musical Oliver, and she's a singer. So I loved the show, and you know, I thought, is there any chance maybe I could audition for them, because I want to be part of that, and because it was a beautifully staged play, and the actors were great. So I thought I should definitely, you know, see how I can contribute to this. And then I auditioned for Christmas Carol, Noel McDuffie, the director, he cast me in the play, and I think I was just so happy. It was definitely one of the first steps where I could see that my dreams were starting to come true and become a reality in a way. And then we worked on it for a month. I think it was very rigorous rehearsals, and it also had some singing in it too, and some dancing in it too. So I was happy to experience some singing as well. And the play was Christmas Carol, and I think it's one of the legendary plays.
Oh, definitely.
And it was really exciting. I was the storyteller, and I was trying to create the narrative of the main character Scrooge in the play, and it was just a really fun experience.
It's ironic you would do Christmas Carol, because again, here's the story of spreading the goodwill to others, and so it seems your mission is continuous.
Yeah.
Now, at one point I emailed you and I said, have you ever done, do you have anything, tell me about what you've done. And I thought I'd get one or two emails with a couple of things on them. And I think I'm up to Anna part 7 on my
Right.
emails, because you have done film, you have done television, you have done other stage work. It's amazing. What else have you done in New York? Your energy is incredible. What
Thank
else
you.
have you done?
I think one of the plays that I would definitely love to talk about is True Colors of Whittle. It's a children's musical that was part of the Identity Theater production. Um, Nick Linehan, who founded the company, I
I
knew
know him
him.
well. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy, and I met him at Dramatic Adventure because he traveled with us in Slovakia, and he was part of that play, the Ako David, that we did in Slovakia. So he invited me to be part of the True Colors of Whittle, which was written by June Aspa. She's a great playwright, and I was especially proud to be part of this play because this was about the bullying issue at schools, and how hard it can be on children, because the main character of the play is a guy who was born with no color in the country of colors. And I think because
Ah,
this boy was so different from the others, he didn't feel welcomed in the society, so he leaves. And then the whole story is about how they get this boy back into the town where he belongs, because people miss him and because they understand what they've lost. And I remember when we were performing that play, children just loved it. And we would have little programs where we would come with the t-shirts, and they could paint colors on our t-shirts according to whatever they liked. And during one of the performances, which we did at the public library actually in Brooklyn, one of the kids was so excited about the dynamic of the play that he actually ran on stage to join the play. And that was very funny because I remember I just held his hand and just danced with him, because we're in that moment, we're just singing and dancing. And it was the part where Whittle discovers that he actually belongs to with his friends in the town. And that's the part where we all dance to celebrate that. And I think that's what the kid was excited about. So he joined our dance. And then other children joined on stage. And, just the fact that I could see how happy kids were about this play, I felt like my mission was accomplished as an actress.
oh, completely. I was going to say, it's like you trip and fall over these things, because Identity Theater, their whole mission is to cast, aside from casting their actors, they also cast individuals who, for one reason or another, have I don't know what the proper, are challenged in life. I know there are people in wheelchairs. There are people of all types who are
Different
really,
abilities, actors
thank
of
you.
different abilities. Yep.
Different abilities. Thank you. I knew Nick had some clever mission statement in there. So the fact that you're part of that again, there you are giving back once again. I think it's really amazing. Now you've worked on television as well. You've done video. You've done film as well. What have you done in terms of that?
I remember, I could talk about my trip in Italy. Um,
Wow.
I I went to South Italy with the group of artists. It was part of the CinemadaMare festival. That was back during my college years, and we created this film, which was very influenced by American horror stories, actually. And I think our director was very enthusiastic to create something that Hitchcock would create in his movies, and he was very inspired by that. And we created a really complex movie, actually, about a very difficult relationship between husband and a wife, and then wife's spirit haunting the husband after she passes, after she dies. And I was playing his wife in life, and then after her death.
Wow.
And that was a very interesting experience. And I'll never forget how much enthusiasm we were trying to put in this movie to really figure out the complex personalities of both the characters, of husband and the wife, and their relationship, and why was the spirit hunting him, and what was it that went wrong between their relationship. And we were also doing this movie in Italy, and it was in that moment not a high budget movie, so we had to figure out where to find the locations and how to afford to actually make a movie. And it was very interesting because at the festival it won an award as the best film. So we were very excited that something where we didn't put where there was no millions invested, and something where we just put our heart in, it actually won the award. And we were happy.
What language was it in? If you did it in Italy, what language was it in?
It was actually in English because the festival
Okay.
was international. So, yeah.
Wow. You had me with horror movie. I'm a huge aficionado of the macabre cinema. So when I hear that films such as that win awards, I'm thrilled, because I think horror movies are finally coming into their own, and also because they're casting very powerful actresses such as yourself to find these things, to delve into the relationships. What now? You're obviously busy. What's happening next year? What's when you look at 2021, what's happening? Where are you contracted to work?
First of all, I hope things will get better in terms of pandemic, and everything will go back to where it's supposed to be in terms of
to learn at that. Yeah, we all kind of.
in terms of the industry. And I think theater is doing a great job. They're very brave. I think they're moving forward. And I have few projects coming up. One of them I'm doing with my friend Myrna Davon, who's a playwright, and she recently wrote a play, No Friends, which was mentioned on Broadway World, and we were very happy about that. I was the lead actress in that movie, No Friends, and we want to do a continuation of that project. So this is basically my life story, probably, and life story of a lot of international actors. It's about coming to America and following your American dream, and working for it, hard every day to be part of this, great nation. And it's an immigrant story that we want to create.
Now this is part of a company called Team Theater, yes?
Yes.
Okay, they are integral in terms of that message, which is amazing. Whenever I speak to someone from Team Theater, they're always telling me it's a parable about the outsider coming in, about the immigrant coming here. Their message is so strong and so timely. So, of course you're going to be part of that company. That's great. So you're taking this show further. This it's reaching the next level, if you will.
We definitely worked on this with Team Theater. They produced the entire play, and Stella was the director, who is also a member, maybe probably one of the founding members of the
Definitely,
Team
yeah.
Theater. She's really great, and so we produced this play with Team Theater, and now we want to do the full length play, because this was part of the Fun Fest Fab Fest, which was short play festival, and it was great to be part of it. And we definitely want to continue working with Team Theater. We think it's been a great collaboration, because all their members are young and active and enthusiastic and very welcoming towards, immigrant artists, international artists like me. So I'm happy that I found this company. Um, and
Now, this is
I'm
going to be
happy
some
that
sort of breakthrough, I would think, because if they are taking it further, they're looking probably to do it under a union contract. They're looking to make it legit, for lack of a better term. And
they
so this is a major breakthrough for you.
Yes, I think they definitely do very, very good work. And given the fact that they're all young artists, I think they have an amazing energy, and they want to take this company really far, and I'm all for it. We're also going to be part of the next Fun Fest Feb Fest
I was
in
about to say that.
2021.
I saw
I'm
the call for script, so I said, okay, and I bet you're part of that too. So that's great.
definitely, and also Team Theater invited me as the invited actor for their new play project, which is called Censored, and that's really about censorship in different countries and what that means and what is that connected to. So some people are writing stories about censored poetry, or things that were censored by politics or religion, and I think this is going to be a very powerful project of what it means when you don't have freedom of speech, because it's a privilege to have freedom of speech, and we don't have it everywhere.
Right.
And so they invited me to be part of this project, and I'm very excited to join.
This sounds eye-opening. This sounds really prestigious, because the way you put it, the invited actor. So this is quite an honor then.
I'm really grateful for that. I think they really liked the play No Friends that Myrna and I created together, and that play turned out to be, very nice, and got a lot of attention, because the Broadway World, it garnered the nomination on Broadway World for Cherkezishvili as the best director
That's what it was. Okay,
for
because Chrissy
2020.
mentioned to me, she said she was nominated for an award, and this is the play. Oh, of
And
course.
this is the play, and we're very happy about it. And Georgian press reached out to me to have an interview with me, because they were all excited, because this was a story about the Georgian immigrant, but at the same time it's also a story that many immigrants can relate to. um,
Wow, talk about synchronicity. It's like, okay, so you left Georgia to become a great actress here. You're giving back to all these people, and of course, the Georgian press wants to celebrate you for doing it. I think that's great.
Thank you.
Okay, so you're all set with Team Theater for the duration. What else is going on? Like I said, I saw so many little bits here and there that you're doing video work and things like that. What else is 21 for you?
I'm also very excited. I was invited to join Rattlestick Theater's new project as well, which is called Global Forum, and that's really exciting. I think right now I joined Dorotha Gloria and Mirna Davon, and we're going to work together on the play, which is called Inside the Artist's Mind. For now, we're thinking to take it towards direction of the movement piece, and then we're going to develop it further, because all of us would like to do creative writing at the same time. And Mirna Devon already has lots of experience of writing plays, and so is Lena Gloria. And Lena
Sure.
Gloria is also one of the founders of the Team Theater. So I do know her from the Team Theater. So now we're all invited to Rattlestick Theater, where I guess we'll continue our journey. It's a good company. I think I'm so happy to be part of that.
It's a gorgeous company, and they commissioned you to do this show. Oh my God. Go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think the Global Forum, it was actually continuation of the Global Gap, which was their program created during pandemic. And I think that was amazing because I was attending their sessions during pandemic, and Global Gap, which is the cross-cultural conversations. That's the length of the name. I think it was all about bringing international artists together and discussing, how can we contribute to the theater in New York, and at the same time, how can we overcome the pandemic situation, and what can we learn from it, and how can we go farther. So during Global Gap, I met their, host Jody Du and Selma Zodi, and they're wonderful people. And after me meeting them, and then at the end of the Global Gab, Lena was also part of the Global Gab program. We all decided that we could definitely contribute to the Rattlestick Theater with this new play, and we got invited, so that was
So
exciting.
you're like booked. This is really inspiring to listen to. Uh, my wife and I were talking about our own parents when they came here and how they had to be American. They had to get rid of who they were, because at that point you came here and that's how the world was. Now you came here and you're not getting rid of your history. You're not denying it. You are sharing it with so many others. You're really the epitome of what one might call an international actress. You are bringing so many cultures here and sharing it with so many people and connecting them in so many ways on a level that some of us don't even realize. I'm a child of immigrants myself, but obviously generations apart. But even I can latch on to the messages that you're saying. So it's
Thank you
really
so much.
heartening that you're doing this. I think this is really amazing. Anything else, or does that take us into 2022 already?
Um, I think you brought up a very interesting point. I definitely feel that this is a country where you can find yourself regardless of your culture, and this is the country where you can find your audience, and that's very exciting. And for the most part, I think American audience themselves are very very curious, and I think very welcoming of accepting the different point of views of the theater from different cultures. And I think it all makes New York especially very interesting, because even these companies, the Team Theater, the Rattlestick Theater, they are very welcoming towards artists like me, because they're interested, what is it that I can bring to the table, what's my perspective of the theater and of the creation of the character process or the play.
Um, I think that's really great, and it makes so much sense. Yes, we're such an inquisitive audience. You can even look at something like Netflix, and you look at what's on there. You realize that there is so much. There's so much there because we want so much interest, and you're providing that. Where do you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? What's because you're a goal oriented, you're a dream oriented person. There you are dreaming of castles when you couldn't go to kindergarten, and now here you are sharing your life with others on stage. Where do you want to be in 5 or 10 years? What's the goal?
I I think I would like to make sure that I've done enough work, that I've shared all the stories that I want to share, because I feel like there's a lot that I want to do, and a lot that I would like to share that is hard for me to put in words sometimes. And I think that's the great thing about being an actor and being a creative, because it always fluctuates in my mind, and then I think, oh, this would be a great project to do, that would be a great project to do. My main interest, I would say, are social issues. That's mostly what I'm interested in. That's where I want to bring my humanity to. People who are marginalized, or people who experience discrimination, or people who are different racially, ethnically. How do they feel? What's their story? Or how about the people's sexuality? Or LGBTQ. Those are the subjects I'm also interested in, or feminism, or all that. There's so much happening in our world, and there are so many social themes that we can bring to awareness. And mostly I'm interested in giving voice to the voiceless, I would say, if that makes sense.
Totally. Totally. It's very touching to hear that, especially now in the holidays. We all need to hear. This is a very interesting season. Obviously, we don't have the commercialism that we normally have. We don't have the chance to be inundated by hundreds of versions of Christmas Carol, or see the tree lightings, or even Black Friday this year was not the same. So I think this year, in a way, we're lucky, because what's left but the feeling of the holiday season. And you're giving us that. I would say to people sometimes, where do you want to be in 5 years? Well, I want to be on Equity, and eventually I want to be on Broadway. You just want to share your story. You want people to smile, and I think that's incredible. And we need more artists like you. Anna, it has been a pleasure to speak to you. Please keep in touch. Tell me what's going on in your life. Something tells me I'm going to get another 22 emails about everything you're doing. Keep up that wonderful work with Team Theater. I'm becoming a huge fan. You're the third person, because I know Dorothea, I know Chrissy,
Yes.
and now I know you. I got to get to know everybody there. What a great company you all are. And I wish you all the best, and keep telling the stories, because you're healing the world. And I don't even know if you realize just how much, but you're healing the world. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you so much.
I'm not going to pronounce your name. I'm just going to say thank you, Anna.
Okay.
Ciao.